Hey guys, what is up? My name is Austin, and this is a $20 smartphone, and I've been using it on and off as my daily driver for the past couple of weeks now, and here's my review of it. So this is the Alcatel One-Touch Pixi Glitz, and it retails for about $19.99 US, so of course at that price point, you shouldn't be expecting any crazy specifications whatsoever, but I'm going to go ahead and get those out of the way in case you're wondering. This thing has a dual-core processor as well as half a gigabyte of RAM, 2 gigabytes of expandable internal storage, an 1150 mAh battery, and a 2 megapixel rear camera, as well as the 3.5 inch 320 by 480 resolution display. One thing I was really skeptical about when switching to this phone was the headphone jack up top. I didn't know if the phone's internal amplifier would be enough to drive any of my earbuds, but I'm happy to report that when listening to songs in Spotify on the highest quality setting, I had zero problems. One thing that really did surprise me about this phone is its rear-facing speaker. Now it is rear-facing as opposed to something like a downwards or front-facing speaker, but it sounds really good. This speaker could be on a flagship smartphone and I would not be able to tell the difference in quality. It sounds that good. It really blew me away, and the fact that it's on a $20 smartphone, that's crazy. Other smartphone manufacturers need to step up their game. Alright, so the camera on the back of this phone is a 2 megapixel camera, and at this price point I'm pretty impressed that there even is a camera in this phone, but you shouldn't have been expecting it to be any good. It has a very inaccurate white balance to the images, there's very little detail, the colors are there but nothing really impressive, and overall things are just really washed out. I compared it to a budget, mid-range, and flagship smartphone, so go ahead and take a look and tell me what you think. The display on the front of this phone is a 3.5 inch 320 by 480 resolution display, and while you might think that the resolution bothered me the most, it was actually the display size. 3.5 inches is just way too small. You can't have like any content on the screen, and you can't have really any icons on your home screen, and overall it was just really bothersome to use. And the resolution is pretty low too, and the screen just didn't look very good. It wasn't very sharp at all, and it had some really weird viewing angles to it. That and this panel isn't actually covered in any type of glass, but rather some plastic. And you can hear how cheap that sounds, but I mean, it works, so I guess I can't really complain. Speaking of things that are cheap, the build quality of this phone. There's no way of getting around it, just listen to how it sounds. It's pretty cheap, but one good thing about the build quality is that since it's all plastic, you can open up the back of the phone and get at the phone's 1150 mAh battery, and you can swap that out if you need to. You probably won't need to, since at least in my testing I was able to get through a full days of use, but your mileage may vary. But you can go ahead and pick up a second $20 smartphone, and you could take the battery out of that, and you could have two $20 smartphones and two batteries, and you can swap that out with one of the phones. Also, underneath the battery you get the micro SD card slot. I have a 64 gig card in there for storing all of my super high definition videos and pictures, and you also have the SIM card slot. This phone is running Android 4.4.2 KitKat, and it has some cool extra features on it, like being able to turn the phone on and off at a set time. But other than that, it's a pretty skinned version of Android. And one thing I'd like to note here, these are the Android lollipop buttons, and they don't even work correctly. This is still back, this is still home, but this is a menu button, and you have to hold it to get into the phone's multitasking. A pretty skinned version of Android, but nothing too bad. There is some bloatware, but it's still usable. They probably should have stuck to a more stock version of Android since this is a very low-end phone, but it works. Overall though, I would say that this phone is usable. I wasn't getting the best performance out of the dual-core processor, the screen isn't the biggest or highest resolution, and the camera didn't take the best pictures out on the market, but it was all totally usable, and I can't really complain about that. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section, and give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.